Our birthday was last Sunday, which means we're 0 again with a 2. We're 20. People are gonna hear other people in this video and it's whatever. We're 20. 20 years old. There's so many emotions that come up with that statement. How did I make it to this age? It's not a question that I've said to anybody else or that I've spoken to anybody else. It's just a question that is coming out and coming up now. Like I really made it to 20. And I'm really 20. And I was asked, so how does it feel? And I said it feels like nothing. It does feel like something, like the aftermath, the days after, the times after, the conversations after, they do feel a little different. They're impactful, but not in the most pleasing way. You know, there's a statement that I don't appreciate. I don't appreciate the act your age, the you're this, so you need to start acting like it phrase, statement. Because for one, I've never been this age before. Not that I remember. Not that I'm not supposed to remember that. I'm supposed to experience it. I'm supposed to live and live this year of 20. People say that because they expect you to be a certain way. People say a lot of things because they expect you to be a certain way by a certain time because of certain things. There's so many different ways that I could convey this information. It's interesting the way that it's coming out right now. I was just in the shower not too long ago. I finished. I paused. And I was like, I'm upset. Like I'm actually upset. My upset comes out in different ways. My upset is the upset where I can just spout out information for hours at an end. And my upset can be an upset where I'm cursing a lot or I'm just spewing out a bunch of words and it's all in one flow. It's so consistent. My upset can come out in aggression. My upset can come out in tears. You know what this sounds like? It just sounds like the flow of emotions and the waves, because there's so many different types of waves and I jump on whatever wave. Well, I don't really jump on it. It just finds me and I become one. It's how it goes. It's how it is. And I realized that I was upset because that phrase was spoken to me. It was told to me, and I was cornered. Mentally and literally. I don't understand people, yet I understand people. That's very irritating. It seems to me that this is the trend. This is our trend. The understanding people and the not understanding people. I'm sick of it. And I can say that I'm sick of it. And I'll say that I'm sick of it right now. I am sick of it. And I'll be sick of it the next day and the next day and the next day. But I won't act and behave as if I'm sick of it. My behavior and my overall illness, because that's what this sickness is. It's the illness of that of which I experience. My behavior and my overall, or my undercover, not undercover, my overall feelings towards certain things don't match up all the time. Because I don't have to behave as, I don't have to experience my life or behave through this upset state of being. But right now I'm upset. Right now I'm upset. Like, I didn't allow it to affect me too much. However, I do know when people speak, I'm not an airhead, okay? When people speak, my brain is empty. Now, I may have thoughts that come to the forefront to respond to what someone is saying. If this is a real, like, we're on this back and forth and back and forth. But if it's not that, I really do listen. But I hold your information so I can pick apart what I need to pick apart for the conversation, depending on what that conversation is showing me it needs, what the person is showing me that they need from me in that conversation. With certain people, the conversation is not a conversating, because conversation requires a back and forth. Conversation requires listening and speaking. I don't appreciate it when I'm speaking and somebody is speaking over me. I don't appreciate that. And yes, I'm just talking, but I know exactly what I'm talking about. And what I'm talking about does align with the initial topic statement that I dislike that was brought up. I don't appreciate being talked over, especially when I'm using my voice. And I also don't appreciate people telling me things that they don't actually uphold, or things that I have that I know that I have, repeating to me things that I know that I have, yet you don't understand the complexity of this situation, or the complexity of our relationship dynamic. So you're telling me that I have this, and you're telling me that I can do this with you, but you don't actually behave in a way with which I feel safe to even do that with you. I don't appreciate that. And I know other people go through the same kind of thing. And in these situations, this is where distance comes from. This is honestly, situations like these birth isolation. They birth hermit periods. They birth separation. It's the birth of separation when things like this happen. I'm 0 again. I'm 20. I know that there's societal expectations of me, there's family expectations of me, there's friend expectations of me, there's co-worker, future co-worker expectations of me, there's acquaintance expectations of me. These all hold different levels, different ranks. These are different kinds of expectations, and then there's the expectations that I have of myself, with which I strive to hold at the highest of highs. I do not appreciate expectations though. Here's what I'm not saying. I'm not invalidating other people's feelings. I'm also not looking at the side that others hold, because I'm gonna do that regardless, and I'm also gonna irritate myself in the moment as I do that, because it's not me invalidating my feelings or, my side of a story to recognize somebody else's. No, it's just in my nature, but it does irritate me because there's never a 100% with anything, or often there's not a 100% with things. It's often going to be comprised of two different sides and the middle sliver of whatever. It's like that. It's really like that. What if you just, I'm really, whatever. It's really like that. Things, I mean this in the purest way, but things are not purely one thing. They're not singular. Things are not singular. People are not singular. They're multi. Many things are multi. And I think that's one of the things, that's not a pet peeve. Honestly, this is why I chose the word I don't appreciate, because everything has another side to it. There's a level of defeat in understanding that things are not singular. The defeat comes when I do it every time. I literally catch it every time where I'm just like, but what, it's really not a but, it's an and. This and this, because things exist at the same time. And although I don't appreciate it, I have to realize, why is it even there, and why am I even analyzing it in the first place? Why am I acknowledging that I don't appreciate that? What is that supposed to do? Okay, because I'm put into a situation where there's something that I don't appreciate. Appreciation and values. These two things, they're meshed together in a way. Okay, so I'm put into a situation where I don't appreciate something. Why was that situation put into my life in the first place? Why was I put in a position where I don't appreciate something? And how does me identifying that I don't appreciate something relate to a lesson that I'm supposed to learn here? Like, what am I supposed to be learning here? Why am I acknowledging something that I don't appreciate? And I feel it. Like, I feel it a lot here, and I feel that, right? I feel it and think it. I think about it. Why was it put there? Why was it put in my life? so I could speak about it, so I could talk about it, or so I could do that and do something about it. We have this thing where we don't like to be told things that we already know. And in that same statement, I remember so many times where I say that I love when people repeat things to me, though. Repeat things that I know to me, because I love being reminded. Oh, but you're picking and choosing what the things that you love being reminded. And perhaps this is to remind you that there's not really a pick and choose. Being reminded of something is not, especially when you feel like when you have more negative emotions tied to that reminder. But of course, it depends on who it's coming from. When you have more negative emotions associated with that, you are like, towards it. You resist it. You're resisting this form of reminding, and of course, this has to do with the information as well. And then you're latching on and being gracious of this form of reminding, or this form of a reminder. Is it for you to recognize that this one deserves something too? Because this is the one that you should be paying attention to. Gratitude is lovely. How can we be grateful and gracious towards this one? The one that has that negative association, that negative emotion tied to it. How do we put this here? So it's like, I feel like this is why I speak things out, though. I love the increase of talking to myself, the immense increase of talking to myself this past year. I've always done it. I don't always do it. Let me find it. I didn't always do it for every little thing. And I don't do it for every little thing. But I do it for many things now. Just have my own conversations with myself. For many things that are not just negative. Because I find that I would talk about things that were more negative, and I would get all of that out, like everything. Like I would throw up all of these explanations. It was a dump. It was definitely a dump. But why was it a dump? Because there was suppression. So of course it was going to be a dump, because things had been suppressed. It's not dumping anymore. And if anything, even though it's not dumping, that has not decreased the amount of which I speak. I've come to a realization that I speak a lot. But I also don't. It depends. I speak a lot with myself, though. We speak a lot with ourselves. So, you know, these videos never end the way I think they'll end. There's never really an ending. you think in your mind, like, what's the perfect ending? I don't have that, and that's wonderful. In my mind, and this is just me talking. This is really just me talking. When it nears the end of a video, I think about how to close it. I think about essays and how you close off essays. Because these are like essays. And not. And are. And not. And I think there is no ending. I think this is just a pause because there will be another video. And I like to think that my videos are connected in a way. But it's important to remember that this is a diary. Regardless, this whole channel is connected to me. And what's going on up there. And this is just me spouting. Spewing, spouting, out a bunch of things that I feel need to be spouted. Spewed, spout. But there is no ending. This is just a pause. And in some way, shape, or form, all of these videos are connected. And never ending. So this is bye for now, because that's really all I have to say about it. Because of where I went with my information, my neck's really hurting this day. Bye for now, because that's all I have to say.